Nah, we're here for Mandalorian time. Mando time. Here to recap season 1.
This is the way.
Talk about season 2, episodes 1, 2, and 3. And that's about it. Let's ride.
All right. So, season 1. This is kind of the TLDR, too long didn't read for season 1. You have a Mandalorian.
Is that what that stands for?
Yeah,
TLDR.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it took me until
Anyway.
yesterday or something to figure it out.
I was 8 years old. But anyway, so recap season 1. You have a Mandalorian who are a race of warriors, and basically he ends up becoming a bounty hunter, taking a contract. He's one of the most revered in the galaxy. He ends up taking a contract to go and basically capture this little thing. It's just a bounty. He doesn't know what it is.
50-year-old.
A 50-year-old. So he goes, captures it. Turns out it ends up being the child, which we all lovingly refer to as Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda, baby Yoda. So he has that, and the whole story ends up being around people want this child for some reason because there's a gigantic bounty on its head. No one knows why. And now the Empire wants it. So the whole first season is basically him running from the Empire, running from other people that are trying to steal him back to give him to the Empire. And that basically is it. The Mandalorians are a creative warriors, well known across the galaxy for being the most ruthless and the best fighters in the galaxy. Period. End of. So that's basically season 1. That's basically season 1.
If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah, give it a shot. It's pretty cool.
We're going to be summarizing or talking about every episode. Not summarizing, just talking. So if you've seen this season, watch with us, listen with us, and send us your comments about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about season 2, episode 1.
Episode 1. So the end of season 1 ended with the Mandalorian, Mando, being quested with dropping off the child with a group of sorcerers known as the Jedi. So that's where season 2 starts. He's looking for other Mandalorians that can help him find these sorcerers, so that he can... It's so sad. I don't want him to get rid of the Baby Yoda.
Carry on.
I know.
Excuse me. But season 1 starts. He's on Tatooine. He has to find this place called Mos Pelgo, where he's supposed to find a Mandalorian contact.
Which is in the same general vicinity as Mos Eisley and Mos Espa.
Yep.
They mentioned that too.
Yeah, which is where a lot of the original stuff for Star Wars with Luke Skywalker takes place.
Yeah.
So, of course, the best place to find a bounty hunter is in the tavern. So that's where he heads to first. He ends up finding the so-and-so Mandalorian. Turns out he takes his helmet off. That's a no-no.
That's a big no-no.
That's a big no-no.
That's something you don't do. This is not the way.
See,
but more interestingly enough, it's not just any Mandalorian armor. It is the Boba Fett's.
Bobblefoot. I love. I think you brought this up. I love how the armor just looks so
because it's
crappy
not
on
meant for
him. It looks like
it's
he's
not meant for
him.
Seriously, it's too small.
Like an inflatable arm tube man or something wearing a freaking little piece of
Fun
armor.
fact though, the lore behind the Mandalorian armor is it is specifically made for you. It can never be worn by anyone else. That's the funny thing about why Boba Fett looks so good in Jango's old armor. Because
it's made
for him.
Exactly.
So it's fair. But if you try to wear someone else's armor, it's not going to fit right. Nope. It's really difficult to tailor to yourself, and he just doesn't look right in it. And they specifically designed it that way so it wouldn't look right.
It's like you put a 5'8" armor made for a 5'8" guy and put it on a 6'5" guy. That's what it looked like.
It doesn't look right. He looks too skinny in it.
Can we take a second to appreciate the blue alcoholic milk?
The blue milk.
Yeah.
The blue milk.
Spotchka.
I was like, oh, what is this? This looks like something straight out of Osmosis Jones or something.
Spotchka, the official sponsor of pod racing.
Speaking of pod racing, did you notice that Cobb Vanth's speed racer little bike thing was Anakin's? Oh, dude, that was so cool. It's stuff like that that makes me love the show.
Yeah, and you know what? It's because Jon Favreau has an amazing team who genuinely like Star Wars. Dave Filoni
is a master.
And that shows you the difference between the team that's doing Mandalorian and the team that's done the trilogy,
Yep.
the last
Sequels.
trilogy.
The last portion of the
because
trilogy.
because that's not their passion.
Yeah.
Their passion is movies, not Star Wars.
Yeah.
And when you have something like that is such an
Absolutely.
amazingly contextually diverse lore and universe, you got to have people who work there who love it. You know.
Speaking of lore and universe, the Crate Dragon though.
Yes. The
Bro.
Crate Dragon.
Did you
is
know?
my one.
So fun. I don't know. You might know this.
Yeah, go for it.
But I saw this clip that when it's coming through the sand and it's all liquefied and everything,
Yeah.
that scream that it makes, that is
Yeah.
the original sound Obi-Wan makes when he's got his hood up and he's walking towards the Tusken Raiders in Episode 4.
Yeah.
It's the same sound bite.
Really?
The-
I did not
yeah.
know that.
What do you call it? Because fun fact, Obi-Wan
Wow.
actually wasn't doing the whole like wave arm things to scare them.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing that noise because that's the Crate Dragon call.
That's why the
And
Tusken Raiders ran away
are
from
terrified
Luke and
of it.
R2.
That's why they ran.
See, that
Yeah.
shows that they value the lore.
Nerds.
Another fun fact as well.
Freaking nerds.
When the Mandalorian arrives, this is I'll remind me about just say Episode 2 droid, and
Okay.
I got you covered because I got some cool lore for that.
Aye, aye, Captain.
I like
Aye,
lore.
aye.
But so basically, the Mandalorian wants Cobb Vanth's, Boba Fett's armor back because it doesn't belong to him.
It doesn't.
So he says, "I'm going to take it from you." He said, "Well, I'll just give it to you if you help me destroy this Crate Dragon, which is an amazing beast."
I like that scene where he's all, "You gonna take it from me? What about the little one?" And
He's
Baby
seen
Yoda
worse.
like,
He's telling
there,
it.
like,
Baby
behind the
Yoda
box.
hanging out. He's just like, bro, I'm eating.
And then he
So
goes-
do what y'all do.
yeah, he goes,
Yeah.
he's seen worse.
He's just so confident, and Baby
He's
Yoda's
seen
just like,
worse.
yeah, dude, he good.
Yeah,
I like milk.
He's good.
Yo,
That's all. That's Spatchka. It's not milk.
Like, did you see what happened? What he did before he got there? Like, yeah, he's good. I don't care. I'm not
Yeah,
worried
yeah.
about it. I'm just eating. I just want to eat. That's all I want.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see that, man. And then, go ahead. Sorry.
Then the Cobb Vanth and Mando Jindarin go and they find the home for the Crate Dragon because Cobb Vanth just knows where that is.
clearly.
And they end up eventually running into Tusken Raiders, and the cool part about the Mandalorian and the Tusken Raiders is you actually find out that they're intelligent. They have language.
Yeah.
There's more than you don't just run in there with a lightsaber, Obi-Wan and Luke, and cut all their heads off, or Anakin.
It's
Not just the men, but the women and children too.
Yeah, but it's the first time you actually show the Tusken Raiders as something else other than just.
Savages.
Savages.
Yeah.
And they're diplomatic.
Which they are, but
Very
they're still
diplomatic.
savages.
And the funny thing is that the Tusken Raiders are actually the ones that suggest working with the other people. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we don't like it either.
Like, we won't mess you up unless you mess us up again.
well, that's
It's
the
a,
whole deal that they
yeah.
strike. We'll be peaceful until they break the
Exactly.
The truce.
and leave it to
And
the
it was-
humans or the
yeah.
Tatooinians.
Yeah.
It was
whatever they're
very,
called.
Yeah, right.
very Dances with Wolves kind of vibe. I like that a lot.
Well,
That's
that's
cool.
they're not savages. They just live a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
A way different lifestyle, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's just
they
like
survived on Tatooine in the
longest.
harsh dunes for
They-
thousands of years.
I like
they're-
Native Americans
because they're
for
the-
the Columbus. and
Because
all
they're
that.
they're the indigenous people to
Just
Tatooine.
throwing that out there.
Don't bring my people into this.
I'm talking about my people.
But anyway, carrying on with that. So they end up finding a way to destroy the Great Dragon. As
Which was
interesting
really
that is,
cool.
Yeah.
Just watch it
oh my
because
gosh.
us talking about it's going
Isn't
to do it
gonna
no
do
justice.
no justice
But
at
if you
all.
have seen it, can we just say, like,
Legendary.
God.
And then they also confirmed the existence of Great
Great
Dragon
pearls.
Pearls.
Yeah,
My favorite.
Which are
that
awesome.
that was my second favorite part of the episode.
yeah, I like
So
that too.
so much. And then at the very end of the episode, when the Mandalorian's running off with Boba Fett's armor, you see a hooded figure, and then he kind of
Oh, he
turns
wasn't
around.
hooded.
But you know what I'm talking about? That hooded type of figure.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
you
it's like
know.
the black
the
silhouette.
silhouette.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Back
Pardon me.
Yeah.
shots.
But
That's
turns around, and it is no other than our man Boba
Rex.
the Fett.
Bum, 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 new challenger.
Yeah. But it's super awesome. He looks haggard, obviously,
Oh,
because
torn
he
up.
survived the
I
Sarlacc.
wonder if he's living with the Tusken Raiders because he had a
Yeah.
Tusken Bowie staff, but also his disintegration rifle.
That's
on
what
his
I'm
back.
curious about. I'm curious how he survived. Like, not how he survived, but like how he's been surviving.
Yeah.
Boba Fett falls in Sarlacc pit. Crate Dragon
We
eats
don't-
Sarlacc pit.
Yo.
His armor. So the armor had so the Crate Dragon spit onto the Tusken Raiders and the Tatooinians, right? They melt.
Yep.
I know we weren't going to talk about how it like blew up and everything, but Mando was inside said Crate Dragon, covered in the slime, still fine, not melting. Beskar can stand up to that.
Yep.
That's how I think Boba Fett survived. Boba Fett goes into this thing that obviously doesn't kill you fast because
It's
it's
like
going to digest
digestion.
you over
Yeah.
thousands of years.
Yep.
If the great dragon comes and eats the sarlacc before he's, digested, he's still alive. But now he's inside of this stomach acid that probably tore up the sarlacc,
Yep.
but not Boba. That's
He
why
was
I
like
think
bubblegum.
that's why I think he's
Basically.
also bald too, because that
It, like,
stuff
burned
like
his hair.
seeped inside of his helmet and started to burn. That's why his face is all
Well, there's
like
there's
and stuff.
five different storylines on
Yeah,
how
yeah,
Boba
yeah.
Fett actually escaped.
Yeah,
We don't know that yet.
We'll find out what's
Monty
canon.
kind of told me one of them, and I was like, that's interesting. That sounds like it makes a lot of sense. But what your theory is too, that sounds
makes sense as
even
well.
more.
I just thought it was
That's a
interesting
better
that he
idea.
didn't melt away and the others did.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly. That was
there's
good
that.
though. I like that first episode.
Yeah.
First episode started off
It
this whole
was
season
because
phenomenal.
That
season
was a
one was
great
so
way to
good.
kick
The
off season
budget
2.
for season 2 is
A lot better.
way better.
And you could tell.
It looks
Yeah,
like a
you could
movie.
tell. It totally.
Every episode looks like a
Totally.
movie.
It's
Yeah.
better than the sequels.
Now, moving on to episode that without question.
Yeah.
Now moving on to episode 2. Basically, the Mandalorian
Not
flies
Clone Wars.
away on his ship, and he ends up going to what planet was that again?
On episode
Episode
Ilden,
Yes,
Ilden.
and he ends up meeting up with that very nice lady who loves the
which
child.
is interesting in the lore because that's where the Jedi go to get their kyber crystals for their lightsabers.
And I
In
love
case you
her as a
didn't know.
character.
Yeah, she's
I love her. She reminds me of my aunt.
Who, the frog lady?
No.
We're on episode
No.
2, right?
The lady who, the nice
That
lady.
vouched
who-
for her life.
Yes.
Yeah,
Who
okay.
vouched for
Yeah,
her
yeah,
life.
She's so nice.
The
But
Mizrahi.
the,
For
You
the
know,
ship.
the nice
Yeah.
lady.
the nice lady.
The
The
ship
human.
The
mechanic.
frog lady.
The
She's
human.
nice.
No, she's
She
nice
had her
too. But
baby seat.
anyway, fun fact. Do you know in the original when they're buying the droids from the Jawas, Luke and
Oh yeah, episode 2 droid.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, look
Man,
at
I
You told me to
appreciate it,
remind
'cause
you,
I
so
was
I-
lost until that. But anyway, so when they're about to buy it, and Luke's like, Uncle Owen, this droid's got a bad motivator. Because the droid basically combusts. There's
Yeah,
a whole
well,
there's a whole
Emperor.
story
Speaking of
behind
Boba
that
Fett.
the whole story behind that droid. But anyway, that lady ends up owning that same droid. And if you look, you'll notice where the droid originally blew up and the oil started seeping out of the motivator compartment in the droid. It's still dirty as hell. It's still messed up. And it's funny. It just
Droids
looking
are
at-
just second-class citizens.
basically.
No one cares.
Basically. That's why everyone made fun of the other droid from the Solo movie.
Oh yeah,
Oh gosh.
But
that feminist.
it was really cool being
Weird.
able to see that droid being brought back in, because he has a really cool story behind him. Yeah, that's, if you guys have a chance, look up that droid and look up he has a little comic. Read it. But anyway, so the Mandalorian needs to find the Jedi. He meets up with that nice lady who offers to take care of Baby Yoda, and she says, "I will vouch for you, for this lady.
That part was so funny.
She will show you where to go." So they go, and it ends up being the frog lady. She has her little thing, and she says, "I need to transport my eggs to my planet where my husband's on." And
I called the planet,
cannot-
by the way.
Huh?
I called the planet, by
Oh,
the way.
Moncala?
Moncala.
Yeah, absolutely. Had to be.
Yeah.
Had to be. But
Anyway,
anyway,
that's episode 3.
but she says, "I'll take you, I'll show you where to go, but we cannot travel light speed. We have to travel sublight."
That sucks.
That
Which is
sucks.
a death sentence, because they're pirates.
Well, it's cool too because you don't hear that term anywhere else
Yeah,
in Star Wars.
sublight is rarely done.
Ever used.
But it's fun. They've never said before, but you know exactly what they're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's just how immersed you are in it. But anyway, so they said, okay, well, that's a death sentence, but we're going to do our best. Ends up, the Mandalorian gets tracked down by the New Republic and a couple of X-Wing pilots.
That was really cool.
That was fun.
And one of the pilots actually ends up being Dave Filoni, which is awesome. Good little cameo there. But he ends up getting tracked down by them, and they're just like, "Oh, this is the new way for the Republic. We need to check your, this, check your credentials, all that nonsense." And the Mandalorian just goes, "Well, crap. Can't do that." So,
Because pinging would be bad.
because it'd be very bad, because the Mandalorian's done some very naughty
Everyone's-
things.
Just like in season 1, everyone's looking for him and the child, and if he
Uh-huh.
pings,
Yeah,
they're
the
gonna
moment
know
he pings,
exactly where he is.
everybody
Done.
in the
So we can't do that. But ends up the guys decide, okay, well, we're gonna shoot you down now. So he does an evasive maneuver and ends
Takes
up
And it
crashing.
was evasive.
Evasive. and ends up crashing onto an ice planet. He ends up crashing into a like a hole, and when all that goes through, there ends up being a little cavern that has like a hot spring. And of course, the frog lady's like, "Dope! That sounds awesome."
I'm gonna go hang out.
Meanwhile, while that's happening,
my
Baby
That's
Yoda,
everyone's favorite part.
Baby Yoda is snacking down on those hard-boiled eggs
Boy,
the
I
whole
swear,
time.
he was sneaking
Scarfing
off
them
and just
down.
scarfing them down.
There was so much drama about that.
There
Like
was.
everybody
Dude,
was
everyone's
talking
trying to
about
cancel it.
how dare you? It's
Well,
that's
after
how
the-
people eat.
Yeah,
That whole scene where they're like in the canister, he puts his face up, uses the force to draw them closer.
yeah,
I'm like, I told my fiance, I'm like, watch, he's gonna eat them.
yeah.
They go back up in the cockpit, they come back
Uh-huh.
down with
He's-
Baby Yoda,
He's just
and
chowing down.
as I said, he's gonna eat them.
Uh-huh.
And she said, no, she's not. As she said that, we watched it with subtitles. It said
Right.
slurping.
But no, he's
yeah,
straight
and
up
her
chowing
face
down.
I
was
knew he
just-
was gonna do it too.
He
I know you can't
eats
see that.
about like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like about maybe like 30 or 40 of them in there.
So they're not gonna.
Not by
lose,
the time
right?
he's
By
done.
the
though.
time they
Yeah.
take him to Moncala, though, there's like
There's
10
about
left.
maybe 10
There's
or
a
15.
lot missing.
But,
But-
cancel Baby Yoda because he's a baby who doesn't know the difference between.
And he just
yeah.
eats.
Yeah, he just eats like
Come
come
on.
on.
50
now.
years
Come on.
old. He needs to know the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he's a baby. But anyway, he's going through doing that thing. The frog lady goes, I'm going to take my eggs, and we're going to go to that little hot spring. So they go there. Baby Yoda sees more eggs,
Guess who's hungry again?
and guess who's hungry again? Baby Nom Nom Yoda. So he goes,
Nom
It
and
looked
he
like a
starts,
scene out of like Alien versus Predator.
and he
my
starts,
gosh.
and they look like the xenomorph eggs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And but he rips it open, and he starts eating it,
Dude,
and it's
that
like
was
this
gross.
weird like spider-looking creature, and all of a sudden, a bigger spider creature shows up.
And all of them
And then
start
a
hatching.
bigger spider creature shows
There's
up.
always a
and
bigger
then
spider.
15 bigger spider creature. And then all of a sudden there's a Godzilla spider creature
Mama
showing
spider.
up.
Mama
And
spider.
it's the big homie. So they're out there and they're just like, run!
Dude, that
Pew,
was
pew, pew,
it
pew,
was
pew, pew.
it was creepy.
That was very.
And
creepy.
for me,
Crawling.
as a deathly petrified
Oh, yeah.
arachnophobic,
Oh,
And I'm
you,
so-
did
like,
you
I was-
close your eyes?
I did my best not to, but I am terrified to death of spiders. Like more than anything
They were
in the
creepy.
world.
The big old like mouth thing on them.
yeah, they got
it's
that weird
creepy.
mouth
The-
with
the
like
monsters,
15 million
it's
eyes type things. And they,
creepy.
like,
we went from
off
crate
white.
dragon to mama spider to
Yeah. But he ends up fighting off the spiders and stuff like that. They end up
No,
kind
they-
of dying, almost dying, basically.
Almost.
And then all of a sudden, the X-wing pilots find them, land, and then Dave Filoni saves the day. They start blasting away
Oh yeah,
the
they clear
spiders.
them all out for him.
And they say,
I liked
"Well,
all the
hey."
stuff that they like rattled off.
Basically, he goes over like, well, Mandalorian, you've done this, 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 and this, which are all incredible crimes. But considering you saved this one guy one time that we know, we're not going to help you, but we're not going to
Well,
let
he
you.
was like pretty high in like the Republic Army though, wasn't he?
Yeah, basically.
yeah, it was like a
Broke him
really
out of
high.
Imperial prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that happens. And they end up
It's
letting
like,
him go.
Am I arrested? You should be.
You should be.
You should be,
But
but
we're going to let you go. So he lets him go. And the Mandalorian flies off, and they have to go even more sublight.
I
in this
would hardly
rinky-dink ship.
call it fly
Oh, yeah,
off.
they can't,
limped
yeah.
away.
Yeah,
They literally- I don't know
Razor
how they
Crest
made it.
limped away.
It's the only thing they could pressurize was the cockpit.
Exactly. And that is where you finish off episode 2.
yeah.
That's that.
Oh man.
It's so good.
Oh, my
So now
gosh.
you're just waiting for them to get to that planet that they're looking for, going at like 2 space miles per hour.
Space Mountain.
2 space miles. How fast is that?
Space kilometers.
What is a space mile?
Space kilometers.
It's
What's that
it's
conversion
12
from
parsecs.
Japan, Japanese to
no,
English?
don't you dare.
Wait,
bring
is
that up.
wait, I'm sorry.
A parsec is
is
a-
a distance or a speed?
It's a
No,
distant.
A
Okay.
parsec is the
Distant.
distance, and that's I like.
Freaking
I actually
Solo.
like how they covered that in Solo.
Yeah.
I like how they actually cleared that up.
Right.
Because he was able to get through quicker than most. But anyway, that's where you end off on episode 2.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that was actually a very good summary.
Summarization.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's
So
all
this
right.
was
That's why the people love us and listen to us.
So we were a little late on the Mandalorian train as far as the segments we wanted to put out. So we combined 2 of them and a little bit of a summary of the first season. But yeah, so from now on we should be doing 1 episode per episode that we put out.
Ah.
Also with some theories for the next episode
My
and
favorite.
maybe some lore. would like to do that. So
Awesome.
keep your ears and eyes open for when we post new ones, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
This is the way.
I have spoken.
This is the way.
I'm also Baby Yoda. Word.
Cool.
Cool.
Slurping.